So this is chapter 6, section 6, number 25. So we got hurricanes, and they have the hurricane scale with all these one like data here. 111 through 130 miles per hour is category 3, and this category 4, and so on and so forth. Okay, everything's described here. So we could have x-axis like 1 through 9. We could have a y-axis labeled as h, and we use these values here. The data on the right represent the number of major hurricanes from 21 to 2010. So A should be pretty easy. Let's do it together. A is just drawing a scatter plot of all those data. So we're only going to focus on the first quadrant here. Let's label, just going to do like quick sketch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might need to draw a little bit bigger. Let me draw a little bit bigger. So I'm going to draw my x and y axis a little bit taller here. Okay, and let's label all these. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess the x-axis you could label it as just x or decade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then here, let's find the lowest number. Let's see, that's the lowest. And 16 also low. Let's find the highest. I think it's 33. That's highest. And this is high as well. Okay, let's plot them. So that let's just say this is lowest point, which is 16, because there's nothing lower than 16. So this is okay. You could draw a squiggly line if you want. That's 16. Oh, you know what? Let's draw in scale. So y-axis, let's have it as I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let's have that 33. Okay, so that's 33. That's 30, 25, and so on and so forth. So 1 represents 17. So let's put that. So that's well, let me plot them first. 2 is 16, and why don't you go ahead and do this? If this is your homework, spend some time figuring out what. So plot all of them. 3, 29, 4, 33, 5, 27, approximate, 6, 16, about here, and then 7 is also 16, and then 8, 27, about, and then what is it? 9, 33, 33. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact. If you have graph paper, that would be good. So this is the lowest point here. So I'm just gonna sketch my graph about. Like make it like sine graph looking. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so just sketch it. So number 1, just drawing scatter plot with only the points. Okay, letter A. So we're done with that. Letter B, we have to find the equation in this form. Okay, let's see. So how are you gonna find the equation? Well, we could find the lowest point. In this case, it's 2 comma. Let me see, 2 comma 16. That's our lowest point. Over here on the top, that would be, let me see, 4 comma 33. So we could use the high peak here and the lowest trough here. We could figure out where the midline would be. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, highest one is 33 plus lowest is 16. So we're taking average. So if you do that, we got 33 plus 16, and then you divide it by 2. It's 24.5. So at y equals 24.5, we're going to have a midline. So 24.5 about here. Let me draw the midline right there. That means we know that all the graph, we draw a midline right there. So that's y is equal to 24.5. Okay. That means, remember in sine graph, the midline used to be y is equal to 0, but it got moved up, translated up 24.5. So at the end of the equation, we would know that we have to add 24.5 at the end. Okay. So far we got y is equal to. We need to figure out what a is, amplitude. Well, that's easy. What is that? That's the distance from the midline to the highest peak or the trough, the lowest point. Okay, so let's figure out what that distance here will be. That will be 33 minus. So a will be. Let me erase this. A will be 33 minus 24.5. Okay. I'm gonna use my calculator so I don't make any mistakes. 33 minus 24.5 gives me 8.5. That's our amplitude. Okay, so we got 8.5 as our amplitude. Let me just write it a little bit smaller. 8.5. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact. If you have graph paper, that would be good. So this is the lowest point here, so I'm just gonna sketch my graph about, like make it like sine graph looking. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so just sketch it. So number 1, just drawing scatter plot with only the points. Okay, letter A. So we're done with that. Letter B, we have to find the equation in this form. Okay, let's see. So how are you gonna find the equation? Well, we could find the lowest point. In this case, it's 2 comma, let me see, 2 comma 16. That's our lowest point. Over here on the top, that would be, let me see, 4 comma 33. So we could use the high peak here and the lowest trough here, we could figure out where the midline will be. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, highest one is 33 plus lowest is 16, so we're taking average. So if you do that, we got, let me see, 33 plus 16, and then you divide it by 2, it's 24.5. So at y equals 24.5, we're going to have a midline. So 24.5 about here. Let me draw the midline right there. That means we know that all the graph, we draw a midline right there. So that's y is equal to 24.5. Okay, that means, remember in sine graph, the midline used to be y is equal to 0, but it got moved up, translated up 24.5. So at the end of the equation, we would know that we have to add 24.5 at the end. Okay, so we got, so far we got y is equal to, we need to figure out what a is, amplitude. Well, that's easy. What is that? That's the distance from the midline to the highest peak or the trough, the lowest point. Okay, so let's figure out what that distance here will be. That will be 33 minus, so a would be, let me erase this. A would be 33 minus 24.5. Okay. I'm going to use my calculator so I don't make any mistakes. 33 minus 24.5 gives me 8.5. That's our amplitude. Okay, so we got 8.5 as our amplitude. Let me just write it a little bit smaller. 8.5 is our amplitude, and then it's going to be sine. Now to find the phase shift, horizontal phase shift, it's a bit tricky here. So let me explain that. Let's say if you have a sine graph here that looks like this, okay, from here to here is full period, right? So from the peak, for instance, from the peak right there, x value, to the middle line right there, this distance should be 1/4 of whatever the period is, right? So if this is 2 pi, one full period is 2 pi, in the middle is pi, only quarter of the whole period is this much, right? So that will be 2 pi over 4. Whatever the period is divided by 4. That's 1/4 of period. That's another 1/4, and 1/4 here, and then 1/4 there, which is, if you add 1/4 times 1/4 all 4 times, that's 1 period. Okay, so what I'm saying is that highest peak, if you go left, okay, where it hits the middle line right there, the midline right there, that's 1/4 of a period. So keep that in mind. So if we go back here, if you look at this one, that's the highest peak, and we want to find the starting point here. So that xy's distance must be 1/4 of the period. Well, the period was 5, remember? So 1/4 of period, what is that? That will be 5 over 4. So what you need to do is, that point is 4. So in order to get the x value for that, you go 4 minus that distance, which is 5 over 4. Remember, I'm going to say this one more time. The distance from where it hits the midline to the highest peak, this distance in xy's, that's 1/4 of the period, xy's. Okay, but then this x value is 4, so we need to subtract, go backwards of that distance, 5 over 4, to get the exact x value for that point right there. We know the y point, y will be 24.5. Okay, so let's get that. What is 4 minus 5 over 4? That's 16 over 4 minus 5 over 4, right? That will be 11 over 4. That means that point right there, this point that I'm pointing, the center will be 11 over 4, comma, and y-wise it was 24.5. Remember, it got raised up. So 24.5 will be, let me see, that will be 24 and a 1/2, which is 49 over 2, right? Okay, so that'll be 49 over 2. Let me erase that. 49 over 2. Okay, so now we know the phase shift, horizontal shift, it got moved 11 over 4 much, and it went up 49 over 2 much. Okay, let's put everything in it. So far we got y is equal to 8.5 sine, and then we have to put our b value, which was right there, 2 pi over 5, and then times, let me move things around to make some more space, shrink it a little bit to the right. Okay, times, what do we got? Let me see, x. And then we got shifted to the right 11 over 4 much. So I'm gonna minus 11 over 4. And then close parentheses. That plus 24.5 should be 49 over 2. Okay. I know we got mixture of all those points. You could change, what is it, 8.5 into fraction and 24.5 into a fraction. But this should be okay. Okay. Oh, in the problem they said to change into this form. So what you can do is you could just leave it like this, or just multiply, distribute here, okay, to make it look like that. But I think this is okay. Okay, so that this should be answer to B. Okay, and then part C is actually draw this on the graph. I think you could do that if equation is given. That's all you can do. And then let me see. It's all kind of messy, but let me just copy this portion here so that we have an equation. So this is our equation, and I'm gonna bring back the problem over again. So here's the problem. Well, we don't need that, so I'm gonna rearrange things here. So that's our equation now from B. Okay, so that's our equation from B. C, I just told you that you could just draw this, right? Have everything's friendly form, graph friendly. And I want to show you how to do D. So it says use a graphing utility like Desmos to find this function of best fit. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to plot. I'll just show you what to do. Okay, we need the data here too. C, I just told you that you could just draw this, right? Have everything's friendly form, graph friendly. And I want to show you how to do D. So it says use a graphing utility like Desmos to find this function of best fit. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to plot. I'll just show you what to do. Okay, we need the data here too. So here's the data, and I'll show you what to do in Desmos. So here's the Desmos. What you want to do is you want to put okay, what you want to do next is open up Desmos, and if you click on this plus sign, add item, there's going to be table button here. So click on that, and it will pop up a table, and then you just plug in all those points from the data. So 1, x1, you put 17 for y1 and all that. Okay. After putting all these data in, the next tab you want to do is y1. You got to type y1. Instead of equal sign, you have to use a squiggle line. Then a sine parentheses bx1 minus c close parentheses plus d, and it'll show you all these. It'll show you all these a, b, c, d value. Let me just copy that. and place it here. Okay, so now we got to use all these values here to come up with the function, okay, a best fit. So we're going to have y is equal to, a is 9.45. Let's round it up to, I don't know, 9.46. Okay, 2 decimal places. How about that? 9.46 times sine, and then parentheses. Remember, it's in this form. Not b is not factored out, and then you just put b 1.2 rounded up to 5, and then we put x, and then minus. But c is negative, so we're gonna minus negative will be positive. We're gonna put 2.91 close parentheses plus we put d value 24.1. How about that? Okay, so that's gonna be our d. That's our d. And then for e, it says graph. Then what you want to do, use decimals again. Just put these this function in, and it will graph it for you. That's all you got to do. It's a lot of steps, but this is how you do it.